To tell you guys just a little bit about Monument, we are based in Richmond, Virginia, and we were founded in 2003 with two primary service offerings in mind. First, and likely the most known, are the MSP services that we provide to better manage the all-important category of spend known as contingent labor. Now, I understand contingent labor is kind of a broad term, so I'll kind of narrow it down for you. I'm talking about staff aug, so your traditional temp work, statement of work, sometimes referred to as services procurement nowadays, and even categories like payrolling services and other creative staffing solutions that we're seeing pop up. We specifically partner with our clients to design, build, and deploy, and ultimately manage their contingent workforce on their behalf. Now, there is a second service offering, as I mentioned, and I really like to think of it as 1A and 1B, and that's our standalone consulting practice. So as an example, this is when a particular prospect may have apprehension or may not desire to hand over the keys to their entire program, but they still need guidance and they need that expert in the industry to chaperone them through a technology implementation and help them both with that VMS, say Fieldglass, and the programmatic components. And then outside of that full-blown VMS implementation that I just spoke about, we also have a large catalog of consulting services that we provide on an a la carte basis. I'll also add that Monument's a global player in the industry, can service our clients in over 50 countries in all major regions. And for those that aren't familiar with us, we also have quite the momentum as we've helped just under 40 clients implement and stand up formal programs in the last 5 years.
I think 2020 called upon two major requirements for their contingent workforce. And one was the ability to communicate rapidly and effectively. And the second is to be able to facilitate business as close to normal as possible. So I'll go into those in a little more depth. Communication. We're now pretty mature into the pandemic, but think back to those earliest days of March when businesses were making pretty rapid decisions about whether to open the facilities or not, what work from home looked like, and if people were deemed necessary to come in, what kind of protocols needed to occur. So think about how the vendor management system Fieldglass was used as that hub for all that critical communication that needed to happen really rapidly to a bunch of disparate parties. The hiring managers needed to know and communicate effectively to the suppliers, who needed to communicate ultimately to their employees, the workers. So that was incredibly important to have that hub for communication. Second is the ability to facilitate business, as I said, as close to normal as possible. If you were working from home, did you have access to the systems that you needed to post your time and know what assignments were being mandated to you? If you were used to working in a corporate facility, sometimes tax jurisdictions were impacted if you were working from home. So we're able to look at the functionality within SAP Fieldglass to make sure that we were rapidly changing those jurisdictions that were required to, again, allow people to operate as normally as possible and have the system make those necessary changes. Even though our industry is maturing, say 20 years or so, it was surprising how many companies were still looking for their first implementation of a VMS solution. So I think what was unique this year was companies had to move uniquely and sometimes more rapidly to implement the solution. So they looked for those partnerships that were well established. So looking at SAP Fieldglass, the leader in the industry with robust functionality, and Monument, who'd been in the partnership with Fieldglass long enough that our maturity was there and visible in our methodologies and our ability to create these solutions rapidly and not figuring out the relationship sort of on the fly. Again, with Fieldglass's customization capabilities and configuration, there were very few requirements from clients that we couldn't address with the flexibility that SAP Fieldglass brings. As far as what we think is going to happen in the years ahead, we're really bullish on the partnership, and we'll continue to invest heavily, whether clients are looking for us to serve as a systems integrator in a standalone basis or as the ongoing managed service provider. We're going to continue to make sure that we stay informed about all the new releases and the new technology that's being advanced. I think things like assignment manager are really exciting, configuration manager our exciting new releases that we'll continue to invest heavily in. And then also making sure that we roll out more functionality for clients of the modules that are released. So maybe a third of our clients today are using the SOW module. We want to continue to expand that to all customers and make sure that the VMS finally isn't just there as an island, but it's truly interoperable with all the other corporate systems that exist, and making sure that we stay current with all the configuration or integrations that are required across the company's ecosystem.
So I think I would answer this in three parts, and there's probably more to it, but three that come to mind pretty quickly. And first and foremost, Matt kind of touched on this a little bit in his last answer, but the Fieldglass VMS tool truly is an industry leader when it comes to the capabilities and the available features. When I think of customers, right, there's the kind of the more simple setup, and then there's the very complex setup. If there is any level of complexity at all in regard to the technology needs, we typically find that Fieldglass is a fantastic option for the client. Secondly, we also find that many Fieldglass customers and some of the prospects we're out there talking with are definitely looking for that suite of products, right? That technology suite of products. And you may know this, SAP has a pretty in-depth suite of products, and that helps the client with those efficiencies they're looking for and that strategy. And then lastly, and this is probably where I'm most proud, and because Monument's a part of this, we've really worked well together. Monument and Fieldglass have co-developed our implementation methodologies. We continue to fine-tune our RACI, and we truly complement Fieldglass with the actual knowledge of how the tool is applied in the client environment. So not only do we add expert guidance during the VMS implementation itself, right? But we also understand what's to come after the program's live. And we want to set the client up for those early wins and sustained success. And I will highlight that I think Fieldglass welcomes this partnership and allows a level of autonomy with your technology, which ultimately pays dividends for the end client. Wow, when I look at this question, it's definitely a loaded question for sure, and I could go a couple of different ways, but I would say that internally and kind of what we're telling our customers is that we believe the market is and really has been evolving for some time now. We believe a company's agility and aptitude to focus on the customer's challenges and desires reign supreme. I know it sounds simple, but just listening to what the end client is looking for, what those key stakeholders desire, whether it's a full-blown MSP partnership model, whether it's us as the SI just implementing Fieldglass, or if it's those ad hoc consulting services I mentioned earlier. We really believe that agility and really creative solutions are the path needed to see success over the next 3 to 5 years. In summation, I really believe Monument Consulting sees the market moving away from what was once termed as total talent management. Everybody remembers that buzzword. And there might be a few out there that are still hung up on that, but I really see that the current customers and prospects desire to achieve their goals through more of a cohesive ecosystem of partners. So, Monument, Fieldglass, maybe some other back-end technology solutions. These partners are ultimately going to work together to provide the best and most appropriate solution for the end client.
We just are so proud of the partnership that we've achieved with SAP Fieldglass over the years. We're going to continue to invest in this partnership, as you've heard through our comments, and feel that there's still a lot of room for growth, both within existing deployments of SAP Fieldglass, as well as with continuing to win more and more new clients and win them over to our team solutions.